Alright, what is up, guys? We are back to break down a WTA Adelaide 2. So we had WTA Adelaide 1, which the final is to be played tonight. And then they will start WTA Adelaide 2, as well as WTA Sydney. We'll have both of those tournaments going on. I believe, yes, Sydney is the 500 event, and Adelaide International 2 is the 250 event. It seemed kind of reverted. Adelaide 1 was a 500, then Adelaide 2 is a 250, and then the Melbournes were the 250s. Then we have Sydney as the 500. Kind of the final tune-up before the Australian Open, and these will all end on the 15th, which is Saturday. Give us a little bit of time before the Australian Open kicks off. A lot of the final players, the players that make the finals of these two events, will get the skip day of the Australian Open to day 2, is what I would assume. And then maybe even some of those in the semifinal will get pushed to the day 2 of the Australian Open. But we have the qualifying first we'll go over here. So we have Alison Van Uytvanck and Diana Yastremska. They're the two seeded players out of the first little draw here, the first little 4-person quarter. I don't really see either of the two kind of other people beating them, but I had high hopes for Yastremska, but she hasn't looked too great to start this season, so I'll take Allison through as the first one to qualify. Kanya and Wang. I do like Storm Sanders to advance, and I like Kanya to advance over Flipkins, and then Kanya to qualify for the main draw. Kanya, very close to being good enough that she won't have to be in qualifying anymore. She's had some strong finishes. And so probably going forward, outside of everybody being in Australia having to be kind of stuck there for the Australian Open, I think after we get out of there, Kanya will probably be a regular person just already into the bracket. Moving on, we have Anastasia Potapova against Harmony Tan, and then we have Kukova. I think Potapova gets out. I like the higher seeds in this particular set of draws. There's not any kind of weird ones in the top end of the seeded players. Moving on, Heather Watson and Danka Kovanic. I like Heather Watson to get out as well. Another one of the high-seeded players. Not going to get too wild here because I do like the higher-seeded players in this qualifying. Rebecca Peterson and Buzkova. Sorry for my cough. I think I like Buzkova to make it out. Peterson looked decent in her matches, but I think Buzkova gets out of this one to make the main bracket. Then we have Lauren Davis and Kaya Juvan. I think Kaya Juvan will get out of the qualifying, taking down Lauren Davis. Probably, they're seeded that way because of their WTA points, but Juvan probably the better player over Lauren Davis. But let's move on to the main bracket here, where we have Sabalenka and her inability to serve back in the draw here. Number 1 seed. Interesting of her to take the decision to play Adelaide 2 over Sydney 2. She would have been the 2 seed here, obviously, as the number 2 ranked player in the world, but I'm surprised she decided to stick to Adelaide. She's staying in Adelaide and just maintaining her 1 seed. Don't really know what to think about her. How many double faults did she serve up in that first match? Hold on, let me see here. How many double faults did she serve up? It was a ridiculous amount. She served a double fault up 27% of the time against Kaya Juvan. And it's not going to tell me. Okay, hold on. I know how to find this. Go to Flash Score. Go to WTA Singles. Go to Sabalenka. And here we go. How many double faults did she serve up? She served up 18 double faults. She had 5 aces, 18 double faults, most of those double faults coming in the second set and the breaker. I believe the breaker... Can I get back to the main... Hello? Matt? Is this really all the match summary that they have here? Oh, here we go, point by point. So in the breaker that she lost, 8-6, I believe she served up 4 double faults. She served up 4. I believe all her points lost on serve were double faults. And then the big one here was this game... Wait, which game was it? This game of the second set. She lost 5 points to 4 or to 3. 5 point whatever. The 5 points she lost were all double faults. They were all double faults. So who knows if she has rebounded. I'm going to base this on the fact that she has mentally fixed herself and she's not going to serve a million double faults in the nets. The lucky thing for her is I think Juvan is a better player than any of these four are going to be. I mean, the qualies, it depends on what qualies she gets. I mean, she could get Juvan again, but I don't think so. I mean, if she serves them into the net, it doesn't really matter who she's playing, but she should make it out. I like whoever the quali is to beat Brangle. That's weird because we don't know who the quali is, but I think I like whoever it is to beat Brangle. Risk looked bad to start the year again. She looked better to end last year, but she looks terrible to start this year again. So I'll take Magdalene. Then we have an interesting one, Cooter Matova against Angelina Kalinina. Kalinina, one of the players that I like to support on the tour with my money, but I think Cooter Matova. It'll be interesting how tired she is. I don't really know how far Melbourne is from Adelaide. I guess I could look it up real quick. Google Maps, if I can type. Let me see. Adelaide. How far is it? Adelaide, directions, and then Melbourne. Okay, how far is it? It's about 7 hours. I mean, it's not that close. It's on like the same side of Australia, but that's still 8-hour trip by car. They'll probably fly, I would assume. But Cooter Matova plays the final today. Be interesting. She'll probably get... I don't think they'll split it into 2 days, so she'll probably have to play. They might split it into 2 days, but who knows. But she plays the final today. It'll be interesting to see how she plays against Halep. She got the positive thing for her is, if it'll load here, is she got the free pass over Osaka. She really hasn't played anyone this week. Potapova, I guess, is her toughest test. She hasn't looked amazing. I think Halep should be able to take care of her easily. Do have a bet on Halep and Ash Barty -4.5. Probably should have taken the spread on Halep against Cooter Matova, but yeah, she hasn't really beat anybody. She made the finals, but she got the free walk over Osaka. But I think she beats Kalinina. Long story short. Next, we have 2 more quali spots. We have Tamara Zidansek and Madison Inglis against 2 qualies. I like the quali to beat Inglis, and then I like Zidansek to make it through. Not a huge fan of Tamara Zidansek's game. I think this draw sets up really nice for Sabalenka if she can just not serve it into the net 500 times. But yeah, I think she should have an easy draw here. I mean, I think the toughest person in this draw is the 7 seed, Teichmann, but it's kind of questionable. Teichmann gets a quali, and Paulini gets a quali as well. I think both of them will advance over the qualies. I do think certain qualies will have a chance against Paulini, but relatively speaking, I think Jasmine Paulini should make it through. It'd be interesting to see if Jill Teichmann can replicate what she did last year and have a great season, or if she'll have her issues and will... It all goes back to, what was it, Cincinnati of 2020, where she kind of broke onto the scene. She had that good run, and then she had a decent season last year. I'll say above. She was a good season last year. No, it was better than decent. So it'll be interesting to see what players that had decent seasons or good seasons last year can carry it over to this year, and what people who were not great in like 2019 or early 2020 that'll revert back to kind of that. So moving on to the bottom half, I did zoom in here to try to get it so that names are a little bit easier to read on like mobile or whatever. So we'll start at the bottom. We have the 2-seeded Elina Svitolina, who, yikes, that match she had against, was it Gasanova? That was Anastasia Gasanova. Oh my gosh, that was one of the more gross matches I've ever watched in my entire life from her. And it kind of goes back to the whole, like, you know, we had the Tenerife, you got slammed by a really good opponent, then you get slammed in Adelaide by a really not good opponent. And so, I don't know, it's weird because she won the both first sets 7-5, and then she fell apart later on. It's just not a good look. I think she beats... And it's a tough matchup against Madison Keys. I mean, that's probably the best non-seeded player here, is it? If I had to pick one non-seeded player... yeah, she's probably the best non-seeded player. I mean, she's probably not the highest ranked, but probably her, Sorona Kirstea would be the ones, and Katerina Siniakova would be the 3 that I would think are probably the best 3 Shelby Rogers is probably 4th, but so it's a really tough matchup for Svitolina in round 1. She should get, Gael Monfils has been going well, so hopefully, he's been picking her up. They haven't been in misery together, so hopefully she comes out, because this is a bad start. If she loses to Madison Keys, that's going to be a real interesting start to Australian Open. She'll be coming off of 3 straight losses to 3 unseeded players in round 1s of tournaments. And Keys is by far the best of the 3, but the other 2 are ranked outside the top 100. It'll be interesting if Svitolina can find her game. Because even the 7-5s, that's bad against those rankings. You should not be needing 7 games in a set to beat them. Moving on, though. I have her playing Sorona Cirstea, like I said. I like Cirstea. I'm not a huge fan of Teresa Martincova. It's just not one of my people that I want to support. I don't think she's that good. Then we have Alizé Cornet playing Nuria Parisas Diaz. So Cornet got knocked out in the tough round 1 matchup against Osaka. Parisas Diaz made a nice run. Hello, Tennis Abstract? Is this thing? Dude. Tennis Abstract has... What is it doing? Let me look up Nuria Parisas Diaz. Okay. So she had the decent run in Melbourne. She made the quarterfinals, lost to Dasha. She beat Claire Liu, and she beat Ellen Perez. Not anybody crazy, but not bad. Not bad wins at all. But I think Parisas Diaz will probably be a nice little popular pick on like the betting markets, but I like Cornet to get it done. I don't know what the odds are. Cornet might be minus 500 for all I know, but I think Nuria Parisas Diaz will get a little bit of support there. Samsonova against Mayar Sharif. Sharif is someone who have seen a lot of play in the challengers and stuff like that, but I'm not going to have her beat Samsonova. I think it's Samsonova. Not Samsonova. But point is, Samsonova gets to advance. A fun matchup here. I'll come back to it. We'll go to the top and do Marquette Vondrousova and Victoria Galubik. Galubik played Halep. She looked decent against Halep, but Halep also couldn't serve. So I think I say this one wrong too. I think it's Goljubik, not Galubik, but whatever. She lost to Halep 6-2, 7-5, 6-4, but Halep had a world's worst time serving. Other than that, she beat Lauren Davis, which is fine, and then Leslie Kirchhoff. Not anything impressive either. So I think Marquette Vondrousova. I mean, we got to see this match play out at the Billie Jean Cup, and Vondrousova took care of her easily. She did beat Vondrousova at Indian Wells, so that, should be interesting. I mean, Vondrousova got her revenge at the Billie Jean Cup, but so I think Vondrousova, though, takes care of Goljubik. Then we have Ann Lee against Daria Gavrilova. So Daria Gavrilova is kind of interesting. Gavrilova. I think she will be decent. I mean, I'm not even looking at like this. She made it through qualies over Katie Bolter and Katie McNally, which was impressive. She lost Iga Swiatek 6-3, 6-3. She did hold a lead on Swiatek, I believe, at like 2-1 or 3-1 up a break in set 1 against Swiatek. But she's just interesting. She hasn't played a lot. She played that Australian Open. I'm sure with her being ranked 421 in the world and only being 20 years old last year, not being able to leave Australia, I'm sure she probably didn't have the funding to stay out on tour as much, and it's why she hasn't played many events. But I'm not a huge fan of her, but I think she has potential to be a quality player. But Ann Lee has looked decent this week, and so I think Ann Lee takes out Daria Gavrilova. Murda Kostjak against Shelby Rogers. Was not impressed with how Kostjak looked to start out with. She'll have a chance to rebound here, but I'm just going to take Shelby Rogers. Rogers looked good. Had her chances to pull off the upset, but ended up not. But Shelby Rogers takes out Murda Kostjak. Moving on to a fun matchup for round 1. Katerina Siniakova against Coco Gauff. Gauff should get the win, though I still think Siniakova should have potential to be a solid contender this year to maybe crack top 30, top 25. Her game's just a little bit erratic. She's very, I guess, emotional out there. She gets tilted easily, which is a problem. But I think she should give Gauff a match, maybe force it to a third set. So that should be a fun one. So we'll stay down here to move on to the round of, was this round of 8? We're in the round of 16 now, so move on to the round of 8. We're going to take a Svitolina to beat Kostjak. This is a tough one because, like I said, Madison Keys could very easily... See, the issue is, for me here, is I think whoever wins... Like, if Svitolina beats Keys, I think she'll make it out. But if she doesn't beat Keys, it gets a little questionable down here. But Cornet, I'm going to have beating Samsonova. I like... Cornet has looked pretty good. And so I'm going to have her pulling off the upset over Samsonova. Moving on, we got Gauff against Shelby Rogers. I'm going to take the upset, and I'm going to take Shelby Rogers to beat Coco Gauff. Gauff looked good, but she didn't make it that far, so it's kind of hard to... It's hard to kind of break it down. She beat a nobody in round 1. That doesn't count. And then she took that set from Ash Barty, and she essentially had the match won against Ash Barty, and then kind of, threw it away. Her double fault percent I was very happy with against Ash Barty. It was down to 1%. She can be very erratic at high double fault percentages, and I mean these are high numbers. You don't want to have an 8% or a 15% double fault, 14% or wait, that's ace. Hold on, 8% double fault, 6%. She got it down for a while. What was it? It was like this run here is like 3. The 6 is fine. The 0%. And then it's gone back up in Cincinnati, U.S. Open, Indian Wells, and then still here at Adelaide. But the good thing was against Ash Barty, it was only 1.1%. So I have... Gauff has been playing better. I just think Shelby Rogers, I think she'll play good enough to beat her and set up a matchup against Marquette Vondrousova. Vondrousova playing her first event of the year, so it'll be interesting to see how she looks. Very easily could look bad, but... I think Vondrousova should get to at least this point of the draw. Not too terribly difficult a one. So up here on the top, Sabalenka against the quali. This one could get real ugly, because I think I'm going to probably have Sabalenka playing Svitolina in the finals. But it's very questionable just based on both of their forms. They both look terrible. And so will be interesting. Magdalene against Kudermetova. I think the heavy amount of games Kudermetova will have played over such a condensed period of time catches up to her. And I have Magdalene taking her out and advancing to face Sabalenka in the quarters. Moving on, we have Tamara Zidansek against the quali. Don't know who the quali is. I kind of want to take the quali, because if the quali is like Kaya Juvan, Anna Kanya, Buzkova, well, probably not Potapova. But yeah, if it's one of those, I kind of like them. I guess we'll take the risk and we'll take them over Tamara Zidansek here, just to have something different. We have Paulini against Teichmann. I'm going to take Teichmann to advance over Jasmine Paulini. I think Teichmann, it's kind of what, like I said, it's one of those people. Do you think she repeats some of her success from last year? You think she struggles again? I'm going to go ahead and take her. I think she'll perform again good. I've been not tracking, but I've been watching a lot of Teichmann since that Cincinnati run she had. Next, we have Sabalenka advancing over Linnae, Teichmann beating the quali. So we have Teichmann and Sabalenka, the 7 and the 1 seed, facing off in the semifinals. And then on the bottom end, not going to make this too long, Svitolina to face Marquette Vondrousova. I like Vondrousova. She's kind of an interesting case study on WTA. But, because boy, can she beat some of the best of them, and boy, can she have some world's worst matches and lose to the worst of them. Let's see here. Let's see. She lost to Bencic back-to-back. I actually forgot about that. I mean, she really, to be honest, she ended the year fairly good, but like this stuff back here, losing to Shea Sue, she lost to Coco Gauff in Dubai when Gauff was double faulting 100 billion times all the time. She lost to Kerber when Kerber was playing bad. She lost to Tomljanovic. She lost to Samsonova when Samsonova was quali. I mean, Samsonova came back. She lost to Raducanu at Wimbledon, which was fine. The Cornet loss at Chicago was kind of weird. But she had a very good season last year, won a lot of matches. And I think she continues it this year, winning a lot of matches. I do want to take, to be honest here, I want to take Marquette Vondrousova to beat Svitolina, and I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to have Vondrousova make the finals. Kind of a tough pick here, but I like Svitolina. She's one of my favorite players, but I think Vondrousova gets the best of her. I just don't think Svitolina's all there right now, and so take Marquette Vondrousova to face Aryna Sabalenka. I'm going to have Sabalenka win, but it all comes down to, can she get those double faults under control? It's been real ugly for Aryna Sabalenka, and I don't know if she's got it in her to solve it here in Adelaide too, but she's going to have to figure it out before the WTA, before the Australian Open, or she's going to get bounced early in that, because there's a chance Naomi Osaka is in Aryna Sabalenka's quarter of the draw. Osaka will be the 13 through 16 seed, which means she has a 50% chance of being in Sabalenka or Barty's draw. It's in Australia. I highly doubt they put Naomi Osaka in Ash Barty's draw, which then narrows it down to a 33% chance she's in Sabalenka's draw. I'm assuming they'll give Osaka to Muguruza or she'll probably be in Krejcikova's draw. I know draw, it's random, but I also think they don't want Osaka. They would like to see an Osaka-Barty final, probably, would be their dream matchup. So, probably put Osaka in the Krejcikova draw to face off with Sabalenka in the semis, is my guess. Or, yeah, in the semis would be my guess. But, yeah, we have Sabalenka again, winning a tournament. Oh, boy. Hopefully she looks good, but that's going to do it for Adelaide, too. Adelaide 1 recap tomorrow. It'll probably go up second after the Somerset recaps, but we'll see. But yeah, Aryna Sabalenka winning WTA Adelaide 2. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys come back. We'll be breaking down Sydney with Ash Barty getting a bye, which is very nice for Ash Barty. Her and Garbiñe Muguruza are the two byes, and we also get to see Petra Kvitova try to redeem herself from her thing against Priscilla Hahn. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys for that video later on today. Peace!